Hoi hoi, he's Straw, I'm Parker, and together we are the Battle Hammer. Doop 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 doop. Wop wop wop. Yeah, so today, a bit more painting with Parker. Been a while. Various reasons, you know, couldn't be bothered, and actually finding that I don't know how much I like filming my painting. But anyway, we'll see. I'm sure I'll find a rhythm and it'll work out. But today, I am going to be working on some cool hazmat dudes. Ordered these a while ago from Hasslefree Miniatures. Wanted to order them right at the beginning of the first lockdown in the UK, but they were completely out of stock, understandably. They're super cool minis, little hazmat guides. So I wanted to paint them in kind of Breaking Bad style hazmat suits with like yellow with the blue gloves, you know, because I thought that'd be cool. So the important thing I'm trying to get is to get a decent yellow, which I think is going to be tricky, but I think we can pull it off. Big shout out to Vince Venturella. If you don't know who he is, check him out on the YouTubes. That's Vince Venturella. If I can remember, I'll put a link in the description. He's got loads, just, you know, just tons of content, a proper prolific high quality army painter, and he does display stuff as well, but he's got a lot of, you know, how to paint yellow, how to paint purple, how to do this, so I've definitely taken some hints and tips from his yellow video, but hopefully they'll come out alright. On to the next bit. Okie dokie, so here we have me doing some airbrushing. I was going to do a zenithal prime, well in fact I am doing a zenithal prime in a roundabout kind of way, but I won't be using a standard black, then grey, then white. In fact this first part is over a black base, a black undercoat primer, just to make sure that I'm using primer rather than just paint. And I'm going over with Indian Shadow from Scale 75. It's kind of a dark browny reddy kind of colour, which will hopefully be dark for the yellow that goes over it, but not cold in any way, because I want this to look like properly yellow rather than like tinted green. In Vincey V's video he talks about how black and grey are often they have tints of blue in them and stuff like that, so you know that it can look a bit sickly and green rather than going over a warmer colour. So that is going to be a couple of coats of the Indian Shadow just to get a good solid colour, and then in the next part I'm going to be doing the grey equivalent, and this is using Sunny Skin Tone from Vallejo Model Colour, which is kind of a more, I wouldn't say it's orangey, but obviously it's a kind of a warmer beigey kind of mid-tone that I can go over the that the yellow will go over, so that acts as the grey point. And next, finally, we have the white equivalent, and that is Ice Yellow from Vallejo Model Colour again. This is going to be kind of my brightest part, you know, the white effectively. It is a colder yellow, but I think once I go in with the yellow tone that I want it to be, hopefully this should work really well underneath that. So that's the zenithal prime stage, if you like. So on to the next part. Okay, so I've blocked in all the colours with the airbrush, going through from Indian Shadow up to Sunny Skin Tone and up to Ice Yellow. I'm left with this. Looks pretty cool, a little bit desaturated because of the Ice Yellow, but I'm going to go over it later on with Sol Yellow. But at the moment I am just going to bring out, I don't know, words, gonna go back again on some shadows to give it a bit more depth because it's looking a little flat. So I've taken the Indian shadow, thinned it down to a glaze. When I get some on my brush, I'll just tap it off on here so it's not too strong. Kind of be, where can you see this? Yeah, you know, it's pretty thin because I don't want to be going in and, you know, changing it completely. Just kind of reinforcing those shadows. Because some of the shadows look a little bit dark. Not a little bit dark, a little bit desaturated, which isn't what I want. And while the Zenithal Prime did a lot for me, because these Hasslefree minis are, I don't want to say they're less detailed because they're really not, but they're more realistically proportioned and stuff. So the details are a little less, not less sharp, but they're less exaggerated than they would be on like a GW model or something like that. So I'm going to go in and reinforce those shadows. Just so that when I do go in there with the Sol Yellow, and I kind of almost use that as a filter to make all of this yellow pop. I've got those shadows in there and they're looking a bit stronger than they would otherwise, just from the Zenithal. In fact, before I do that I may do another stage, but we'll see how this turns out first. Trying to just glaze in. You know, there's a prime example. Like you can see that's darker underneath his crotch, but the colour isn't super strong. So I'm going in with this this glaze just to bring colour out a little bit, and also I can do a bit of lining around like these knee pads and whatnot. I'm hoping, I mean we'll see, I haven't done it yet, I'm hoping that when I go over it with the Sol Yellow, it'll just be a nice yellow shade. I know that yellow is a pain in the posterior, which is why I've never really painted it before. You know, you got to do these things, haven't you? I don't want it too thick or anything like that. So I'm going to do these guys and I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so I've done the reinforce the shadows. Now I'm going to reinforce the highlights with some pale sand from Vallejo, and it is a little brighter than the ice yellow that I was using as the kind of zenithal. So it's just going to be, you know, again I'm like almost underpainting, kind of like you would with black and white. Before I go over with some, you know, strong yellow to tint the whole thing, hopefully, assuming it all works. So I'm just going all those like upward facing edges. You know, I'm thinking about this like almost like a zenithal prime kind of thing. You know, stuff that's pointing upwards, because obviously it's highlights. And also it means I can tidy up any of the mistakes I made with the whatnot, the Indian shadow. So I'm just going to do this, and then I'll see you in a bit. And then after that, we get to the big stuff. I get to do a, well, try and do this thing with the yellow. See you in a little while. Okay, so back into the airbrush booth. Missed the shot a little on this. Hopefully you can see it okay. So I'm now going in with the Sol Yellow, which is a paint from Scale 75, which is kind of the yellow that I'm aiming for in the final product. Yeah, I missed it a little bit here, but hopefully you can see that I'm just laying that as a kind of as a coat over the other colours to kind of unify them, and almost like a glaze, so that it will tint the whole thing and you'll still be able to see the shadows underneath, hopefully. So yeah, just that. I mean, you could do it with a brush with very thin down paint, or maybe an ink or something like that. Would be cool. But I've got the airbrush, so why not use it? Okay. Right, so here we have. I've painted in some extra details. You can see I've done the knee pads in like a camo green kind of colour, painted the base and the blue gloves. The visor I just painted with the Vallejo metal colour silver, just to give it that kind of reflective silver look, and I painted a blue-green backpack, air canister, whatever, he's breathing thing, and then just paint this tube. I haven't painted the gun yet. This video is obviously about the yellow, so that's what I'm focusing on. But now I've kind of worked on some details. I don't know if the texture and the shadows are popping enough, so I'm taking some Hull Red from Vallejo, thinning it way down to like a glaze consistency, like, well, you can see this, like that's how thin it is. It's, you know, dirty paint and water almost. And dabbing off some on the brush. You'll see as I paint it over my, I mean, you barely see it at all, but that's kind of what I'm going for. I don't want it to be strong. And I'm going in as like a targeted wash, and I'm just going in any, you know, reinforcing some of those shadows, not everywhere, just, you know, places where just want a little bit more definition. Okay, so there they are. They are not quite 100% finished. I've still got a couple of details like the guns and stuff to paint, and then, you know, give them a varnish and pimp the bases a little bit. But the yellow specifically is all done. I think it looks pretty good. It definitely looks yellow. It doesn't like look a bit green or a bit brown or a bit orange. That was a big thing that Vincent Venturella said, that, you know, if you dark yellow isn't orange, essentially. So yeah, they look pretty cool. I was going to finish them off, but if Straw doesn't get this video, if I don't get this video up soon, Straw's going to murderize me. So here you go. But the yellow's really cool. I think they're coming out really nicely. Probably put some finished pics up on the Facebooks when they are done-ski. Thanks for paying attention and watching along. If you've watched this far, we really appreciate it. Hope you've learnt some stuff about painting the awfulness that is yellow. Definitely helped me out for any future endeavours that I may have. If you want to help the channel out and help us do more cool stuff, then there's going to be links in the comment box, in the doobly-doo, for various things, including our Patreon account, which you can pledge as little as $1 a month or as much as infinite money. We really appreciate it. That really helps us to pay for stuff for the channel, like equipment and whatnot. But if you do nothing else today, make sure you do this one thing. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you liked it and want to subscribe. If you don't like it and don't want to subscribe, you don't have to like and subscribe, but we would like it if you liked and subscribed. And until next time, stay hammered.